The semifinals have officially been set in Cincinnati, and the tennis on day 9 was interesting to say the least. I'll of course talk about the epic Gauff, Paolini, and Alcaraz Rublev matches and preview some of the semifinals, namely that edgy encounter between Iga Swiatek and Elena Rybakina. Hello, my name is Christian Bassnight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you haven't yet already, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you are notified whenever I post more Cincy Open updates. Jasmine Paolini defeated Coco Gauff for a third time in a row this year as the Italian pulled off a 2-6, 6-4, 6-3 comeback victory to reach the Final Four in Ohio. I'm going to be honest, this was a rough watch. Coco, honestly, she should have won this match in straight sets. She got out to a great start, having a double break lead 3-0 in the opening set. Paolini, she was sloppy, but Coco was solid, giving her credit. But then the errors and the double faults and the service trouble for Coco let Paolini back in a little bit. Jasmine won 2 games in a row, but here at this point, Paolini's form, it was just too sloppy and subpar for at least the rest of the set, aiding Coco and winning 4 games in a row to seal the opener. I thought this was shaping up to be very similar to their last Cincy Open quarterfinal in 2023, which Coco won 6-3, 6-2, and I thought it was going to be like a 6-2, 6-2 type of win. It really should have been a 6-2, 6-2 win for Coco because Paolini, she still played pretty poor in my opinion. Gauff had a few openings in the second set, a few 30-alls and even a 15-30 in her first few, some of her first few return games of the second set, but her return did not do her any favors, and it's a similar story to her previous losses against Paolini, and I said it in the preview that this result would come down to whether Coco's serve and return would hold up for her. Those 2 shots let her down badly, and first, those 2 shots prevented her from running away with the match in the second set and from digging herself out of that hole in the third set. With the serve, the problem spurred really from Coco's poor first serve percentage. She only hit 54% of her first serves in, and she won just 28% of her second serve points, which is a disaster, and that's not counting the 16 total double faults that she hit in this quarterfinal match. The service issues unsurprisingly translated to other aspects of her game, like her forehand. She just lost confidence in that forehand shot, especially midway through the second set, and she started slashing it a lot more, which was just the wrong play. Gauff's downfall started at 2-3 in the second set, where she fumbled what should have been a routine hold. She was up 40-15, but there she lost her point, and then she served 3 double faults in a row to get broken. Gauff actually wouldn't hold serve again until the 2-3 game in the third set, and that would be her last hold for the entire match, which is just simply unacceptable. Gauff's serve is just unreliable, simple as that. To be honest, this was low-key a bit of an embarrassing loss for Gauff. Paolini, she rolled her ankle towards the end of the third set, and she was even limping at some parts. Now, Jasmine, she did actually play better after the ankle turn a little bit, but she still wasn't at 100%. Gauff just continued to let the Italian woman off the hook, and she served 3 double faults in her first service game of that third set to get broken right off the bat. And that was a rough moment because you could hear Coco audibly say, "Why are you playing like this?" and so on and so forth. It hurt to hear her be that frustrated and talk about herself like that. You can hear how upset she is about her service issues. Coco's team, I'm really baffled because they really weren't saying much of anything at all. Maybe they're just tired themselves and don't know what else to say. But still, Sada Irani, she outdid them 10 times over with her support of Jasmine. I heard her say Forza and Ale literally like 50 times throughout this entire match. That was quite something, but good on Jasmine that she has a good supportive system in Irani, but that was funny to hear Sada say. I mean, if anything, Irani is her coach, must be her coach or something, her assistant coach, with the way that she was talking. She was talking more than Jasmine's actual head coach. But credit to Jasmine. I think overall the mental edge, it was in her favor, and that helped her get over the hump, knowing that she had already gotten 2 wins over Coco this year, and maybe there was a little bit of doubt in Coco's mind from her knowing that she had lost those 2 matches to Paolini. And I do think that Jasmine deserved it in the end, although to be honest, at some parts watching this match, I even said to my friend on FaceTime, I was like, really, neither of these women deserves to win with how they're playing. The match, it was quite frankly ugly. Jasmine hit just 7 winners to 44 unforced errors. Coco 22 winners to 62 unforced errors. And again, Coco, she could have won this match, really should have won this match, but her serve and as well as her return let her down badly. Same old story. I'm tired of repeating it. Looking at Jasmine's chances of making another 1,000 final, I mean, they're solid. She faces off against Veronika Kudermetova, who dominated Varvara Gracheva 6-1, 6-2. I do think while Kudermetova might have the physical edge, considering how Paolini literally rolled her ankle, Jasmine has the mental edge because Kudermetova has never made a final of this magnitude in her career. She has made 2 1,000 semifinals, but has never gotten over that hump, so that might be a big task. As far as like their playing level, I honestly think that Kudermetova has been playing better, so that would be an intriguing matchup to see whether the Russian can actually get over the hump and win this match, which I really think that she should. Now, the question is, what should we expect from Coco for the U.S. Open? Her service confidence is kind of shattered, and I think her expectations of herself and everyone's expectations are honestly kind of lowered. And it's interesting. I've seen a few people mention this a bit, but Coco doesn't really have the confidence. She's not carrying the confidence of winning a slam. Like, we wouldn't have been able to tell that she's a slam champion with how she's all disgruntled and stuff like that. So it's really quite interesting, and I said it a long time ago, I clocked it, of how truly her playing Berlin was a big mistake because it kind of took away a little bit of the confidence, chipped away at it a bit, and as well as that woman in the opening round loss. But I think that she should at least make the second week, but we might see another Navarro type of 4th round loss where she hits, 19, 20 double faults. Wouldn't even be surprised. Speaking of the U.S. Open, Iga Swiatek has a chance to be the 2nd seed and world number 2, surpassing Gauff, if she were to win the title in Cincinnati. Swiatek defeated Anna Kalinskaya 6-3, 6-4 to be the first woman to punch her ticket into the semifinals. It was a solid match overall from Swiatek, nothing all that extraordinary. Iga was very successful behind her first serve, winning 83% of her first serve points. She was also fairly clean from the ground, hitting 15 winners to 17 unforced errors. Swiatek's semifinal opponent, Elena Rybakina, also had a very good day, especially good serving day, ousting the defending champion and world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka, 6-1, 6-4. This was not a total surprise that Rybakina won because she has tested Sabalenka and beaten Sabalenka multiple times before, and this was low-key kind of reminiscent of their Brisbane 2024 finals, which Rybakina totally kind of routed Sabalenka. But I say this wasn't a total surprise because also Sabalenka has not been playing that well in this tournament at all, just being quite blunt. But I still picked her to win this match because I felt that she would outlast Rybakina physically, considering how Rybakina had played three-set matches leading into this match. But Sabalenka just could not push her to that distance. And don't get me wrong, Elena played a great match. She served 11 aces. She won 81% of her first serve points, won 57% of her second serve points, and hit 22 winners to 18 unforced errors. But Sabalenka definitely should not have lost 1 and 4. And her biggest issue was her not breaking serve at least one time. She was 0 for 5, and she was often beat by the wide serve on the ad side. She should have really covered that serve a lot more and forced Rybakina to beat her up the tee, because we all know that wide serve, at least on the ad side, is Rybakina's bread and butter. Sabalenka was also a bit sloppy from the ground, and that of course did not help her in her service games as well. And one of Sabalenka's biggest fans, Terry on X, he mentioned that Aryna has not really been bending her knees nearly enough on her backhand side, and I've noticed that the backhand especially has not been sharp, at least since really Roland Garros. Her forehand also has looked off, particularly in this tournament. Her take back just looks bigger and more exaggerated, and I feel like oftentimes she catches the ball a bit late on that forehand side. The question is, for Sabalenka, is she still the U.S. Open favorite? I guess. I think the field right now is just so open. I think the thing that aged Sabalenka is her, of course, loving New York, the conditions. She made the finals 2 years in a row, won the title, of course, and also made the semifinals in 2021 and 2022. So I think also, too, she's just so great in the slams, hardly loses before the semifinals. So I think that she will make the semifinals, but I would not be, I don't know if I'd gun on her as being my top title favorite at this point to defend her title. Now, talking about the actual winner, Rybakina, she has had a very low-key, excellent U.S. Open swing. Even though she has not made a final, she's made the semifinals at all 3 tournaments played. And I'm wondering if this Sabalenka win will help Rybakina get that monkey off her back and actually win a big semifinal. It would be ironic if she actually got over the hump and beat the curse and went on to win the title, because this would be her first tournament back with Stefano Vukov in her box. And I know that some people unfortunately will say that, oh, Vukov being in her box is what she needed. I don't know if I completely agree with that, but I honestly feel like maybe he's helping her a bit. I don't think that he's been very disparaging against her in the box. I think that the ban probably helped him clean up his act, so that's good at least. And I think that he's actually one of the few coaches that's been giving Rybakina good, solid advice throughout the match. So maybe this is what she needs, Vukov back in the box to actually help. I know that sounds very problematic, but like, it might be it. It might be what she needs as far as someone in her box that she really trusts and loves, clearly, giving her these tips. So we'll see. Getting over the hump against Swiatek, I think, will be a big task. And Iga, she leads the head-to-head 5-4, and she has won all 3 of their previous matches this year. Their last meeting was very memorable, the Roland Garros 2025 4th round, and Elena should have won this match, or really could have won this match at least. She led by a set and a break, but she choked, and she allowed Swiatek to roar back for a 1-6, 6-3, 7-5 win. I do think Elena has a strong shot at getting the win because she nearly beat Iga on clay, Swiatek's best surface, where the conditions were a bit slower. And here, they're going to be playing, I know they're going to be playing first on Sunday, so the conditions should still be lively and like going through the court a little bit faster. And we saw last year in the semifinals in Cincy where Aryna really rushed Swiatek badly and really broke down Iga's forehand badly. And I think Clara Towson, she did a good job at that in their Montreal round of 16. So I think that for sure Rybakina can do the same here. Now, the thing is, Iga is a better returner than Aryna, so I don't expect Rybakina to have as more of a clinical serving day, and I think that Swiatek will do a much better job of covering that wide serve on the ad side. And also, I think that if Iga manages to force a 3rd set, I might favor her. First, because she would have more in the tank, presumably, as she also had a walkover from the 3rd round. But also, is there a little bit of scar tissue left in there for Elena? Yes, she did get that win over Sabalenka, but still, I don't know. I'm questioning it. I'm actually going to be giving a bold pick here and having Rybakina win this in 2 relatively tight sets. I just feel that she will be able to get over the hump. I do think the Sabalenka win will help her in this regard, and I feel like it comes down to her being in better form right now, at least to me. So that's going to be my pick. Now, talking about the men's, our first semifinal has been set. It's between Sinner and Osman. I talked about that more in my previous video. So moving on and talking about the other semifinal lineup, Carlos Alcaraz, he was the first man to punch his ticket into the semifinal on day 9, surviving Andrey Rublev 6-3, 4-6, 7-5. This match was truly a roller coaster. Alcaraz, he did well in the first set, of course, to break Rublev's serve twice to take it. And Andrey, though, props to him for forcing the 3rd set. Carlos, he did get a little bit sloppy. The serve and volley definitely wasn't his friend, but Rublev, again, credit to him for taking advantage because he easily could have let that slip in a tiebreak 2nd set loss. The 3rd set was full of opportunity for both men. Carlos had 2 break points at 2-1 in the deciding set, but Andrey was clutch and held. And then Rublev had a love 30 opening, but played a few sloppy points to let Carlitos off the hook. Rublev also played sloppy at 3-4 floor to get broken to allow Alcaraz to try to serve for the match. But then Carlitos, he played a sloppy game to allow Rublev right back in. And Andrey, he low-key beat himself towards the end. In that 5-6 game when he was trying to force a breaker, he played a string of sloppy points, and he ended the match on a double fault. And it is understandable that he kind of felt the moment mentally, because I mentioned this in my preview, he hasn't gotten a lot of big wins this year. He only has, his best win was against the then world number 10 de Minaur in Doha. So he knew that this would be a big win in him trying to turn around his somewhat subpar season, and he wasn't able to get the job done today, but still positive steps for the Russian. And I think that he will come into New York relatively, having solid confidence in himself. Alexander Zverev, meanwhile, had a much easier time. He dispatched of Ben Shelton 6-2, 6-2 in 77 minutes. I predicted a straight sets win for Zverev, not only because he was 3-0 against Shelton coming into this one, but I know he had much more in the tank. Shelton, he played, back-to-back matches. Zverev had a day off. Plus, of course, Ben won Toronto, the title. Ben played a poor match also tactically. He kind of played right into Zverev's hands, trying to grind or out-rally Zverev from the ground instead of forcing the issue a little bit more. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting Ben to kind of go for a lot of shots and beat himself that way, and not just beat himself playing low-key, just boring tennis, actually. Zverev, he was struggling physically too. He called the doctor at 2-1 in the second set, but he was still strong enough to win it because Shelton, I don't think he really had enough left in the tank. Now, Zverev has a 6-5 head-to-head edge over Carlitos, but Zverev, he said after the match that he is not feeling great and doesn't really know what happened. So that would be a question mark for him physically, whether he'll be fit enough to contend with Carlitos. And I don't know if he will have enough time to recover, considering he won't have a day off, as they will play that semifinal at 6 p.m. Saturday evening. So I don't know. I think that really Zverev should still be fine, though. Honestly, Zverev, I think, should win this match. I think he has been playing better than Alcaraz this tournament. Just the question will be whether he will be fine physically. I think he should. I don't know. My heart says Alcaraz, my mind says Zverev. I might go with my mind, y'all, and say Zverev in 3 sets. That is all I have for this video, and let me know your thoughts on all the quarterfinal action. Also, how do you think that Coco and Aryna will fare for the US Open? Drop your predictions of how far you think they will go in the year's final major. Again, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you are notified whenever I post my Cincy finals preview videos. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I will see you all next time here on Christian's Court.